Hey folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. I breathe a sigh of relief. I think this might fall into the all's well that ends well category of videos. Though, to be perfectly honest, we should, once all the excitement and the hoopla and the, justified celebration, when all that has passed, I think my man there, Fabio, needs to have some serious thinking about where you're going to go and how you're going to manage your career. If you're watching this, you will by now know, of course, that Fabio Wardley prevailed. He prevailed by knockout. 1 minute and 42 seconds into round 10. Now, I had predicted, I think, round 6. I think I said round 6 or 7, and then I came down on a final of round 6. I thought that, and I believe I've said, that he would be outboxed, but that by about round 6 or 7 he would connect. That the only way for Huni to win was to win on points. Well, there's a couple of things there. It wasn't really the only way that Huni could win. Had Huni actually been a slightly harder puncher, a little bit more oomph on those shots, I'm not sure that it would have gotten to round 10, to be perfectly honest with you. If I imagine an Ajit Kabayel, I'm thinking that Fabio is overmatched. If I'm thinking of a Parker, I'm thinking Fabio is overmatched. I think this fight has shown us where Fabio's strengths are, that Wilder-esque one shot, one KO ability, but it's shown us some weaknesses as well. I'm going to go through my notes sort of round by round, and they're not too long, this won't keep you forever, and you'll see where the fight was going. That's probably the best thing, So when I started watching, I thought not all seats seemed full. Maybe some areas are not supposed to be full. Lots of dancing, production quality looked good. Crowds nicely warmed up with the fights earlier, of course. I'd been watching some of those on my phone, but this was on the big screen, I'll do a separate video on the undercard. Huni arrived, glittering robe, looked very confident, looked very calm. Fabio was channeling more of that, gladiator look from maybe Spartacus type thing, but in the Ipswich Town Football Club colours. Hugely popular. The crowd, they played their role perfectly. They booed Huni and they cheered Fabio. So that was all. The crowd sounded amazing, to be fair. I mean, really. First round. Fabio very fast, sneaking out that hand very fast from the get-go. Huni showed some, boxing skills to avoid and parry. Huni was trying to find a rhythm. I was worried about his chin being high. And he seemed jarred late in round 1. I gave that to Fabio. 2, Huni seemed a bit slower, but boxed well enough and gave enough to me for the round. 3, Huni, nice heavy combo. Wardley weathered it okay. Huni got Wardley with 2 nice left hooks, but then Wardley came back, fired up, and the 2 went to war. Huni round number 2, Huni round number 3. 4, Huni didn't bite on any feints. Huni showing the skill set gap. The crowd was noticeably quiet. Huni was landing more power shots through 4. When the CompuBox thing came up, it was 10 more power shots. That's what I mean, right? If you had a boxer with Huni's skills, but with a bit more oomph on the power shot, this, there's a limit. So like clearly Fabio can take a shot. Remember, I'm a Fabio fan, right? But I'm just not a Fabio fanboy. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it was all well at the end. He knocked him out. Look at that. He can win. He can beat anybody, including Usyk. Because I think what we learned tonight is he can't. That's not true. And you're not here for bovine excrement. You're here for, well, at least some sort of reality, right? My note on the top of my next page was, I'm really starting to admire Huni. Remember? I'm like, oh my God, I'm wanting Fabio, right? Round 5, good work by Huni. Is this Wardley's level? Question mark. At that point, I was thinking, where's his level? I did say Wardley like Wilder, though? Question mark. The high chin of Huni begging to be hit, but Huni's round. That was my comments of round 5. Round 6, Wardley looking tired. Huni boxing very well, very confident, like he knows he can outbox Fabio all night. Number 6, Wardley looking tired. Yes, sorry, I was disturbed there. I'm not sure quite where my notes I got, so please bear with me. I don't know how to edit. This is all live anyways. It may be the beginnings of overconfidence. Number 7, there was a little bit of a delay. Huni's gum shield was out. And I said if somebody was a puncher with Huni's skill sets, it would all be over. And then 8, skill set difference because of the amateurs, question mark. If Huni had a big punch, Wardley be in a dressing room. A boxer showing a fighter how to box. 9, Huni just dominated a boxing match. Those are my comments. All those were Huni rounds. And then my notes for 10. Then it happened. One shot and it was all over at 142. Losing virtually every round. He detonated the right hand. Very lucky, TBH, while I'm very happy. Those are my exact thoughts, right? I'm telling you, I'm not dressing this up to sort of say, oh yes, I predicted how he slunk him in, or whatever, I said, this is my raw stuff, right? Huni's first mistake was to trade. He squared his feet. He took his head off the line and boom. And that was all she wrote. There was some post-match in-the-ring interviews. This, of course, was for the WBA interim belt. Huni, very sportsmanlike. Clearly smart as well. The crowd booed him on the way in. But the crowd cheered him in defeat. Everybody there is now a Justice Huni fan. And the first thing he said is, thank you so much to people of Ipswich to allow me to appear in front of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Like, bang. PR success. Fabio gave huge thanks to everybody as well, of course. He always said he finds a way to win. Both Fabio and Justice Huni were complimentary of each other, of course. Huni said it was his curse to switch off. Gave Wardley a huge boost. Of course, the crowd loved him. Frank Warren said, eat your heart out, Deontay Wilder. And said that, there would be big things in the future for Fabio Wardley. But that he needed to take some time. He's going to have a baby next week. Congratulations to Fabio. Hope the baby and mom are healthy and everything. And take a well-deserved break, yes. Justice Huni, as far as I'm concerned, in defeat, has added value to his stock. Justice Huni, ironically, lost by one-shot KO on what was his very best performance without a shadow of a doubt. But Justice Huni is now elevated into profile. I think people know who he is. And even though he lost, no shame in this loss. He took his eye off the ball for a moment and he got clipped. Justice Huni is worth watching. I liked what I saw. And in the grand scheme of things, don't be surprised if tonight's loser ends up in their professional career achieving a higher level of professional accolade. So that's my thoughts. Big sigh of relief for Fabio pulling it off, but it's taught us a lot, I think, about both fighters. Excellent fight. Congratulations to both men. Hats off to both. Really enjoyable. Liked it very much. And if you liked this very much, please hit like. Please share and please subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.